Hi, it's Stephanie Pruitt, and it is day 11 of 30 by 30 by 30, where I'm writing 30 poems in 30 days in relation to works in the 30 Americans exhibit at the Frisch Center for the Visual Arts in Nashville, Tennessee. Today, I drafted a poem in relation to Henry Taylor's Love, Pam. Henry Taylor was born in 1958 in Oxnard, California. He currently lives and works out of Los Angeles, California. And the work I was dealing with today, Love, Pam, is a painting. It's an acrylic on canvas that was created in 2008. Love, Pam, I see Love, Pam actually as a self-portrait of the artist. There's a gentleman sitting forward-facing, center of the painting, in a very kind of open but strong posture. And in the background, there are a few details. There are a couple of books on a bookcase, a map, looks like a desk. There's a postcard that's framed that has Henry Taylor's name and address, and then it's closed with Love, Pam, or actually the heart symbol, Pam, and then entitled Love, Pam. So how about I read the draft, and then I'll talk about its making. These days, I paint myself in heavy strokes, with scant gold dot details, forward-facing, centered. Fill in more if you will, but I already know what's true. The card propped in the background, the who, the what, the where. Some stories must be painted quickly, from the shoulder, the elbow, not the wrist. Wishing you were here. No proxy, no post, no empty lap, no image of the heart. So the draft, I think I'm calling the draft not a self-portrait. And part of what I'm thinking about is how artists directly relay and in some ways deflect ideas and conversations. So of course, when we hear that we're viewing a self-portrait, we expect the focus to be on the artist. It's kind of an autobiographical view of them. Henry Taylor did not title this piece a self-portrait. He titled it Love, Pam, like as if he's deflecting attention from himself or from the figure who's actually in the center and in the foreground of the work. It seems that the more important detail, as the artist suggests, is the postcard in the background that reveals a relationship or a part of a relationship that might be in question. I think a lot of works of art actually do this. Works that appear initially to be autobiographical self-portraits, whether that's visual art or literary art or performances that are based on kind of factual details of the artist's life. Of course, they tell us that direct story, but a lot of times the details actually end up showing us about their external worldview and a lot of the works and things that are, otherwise populating their lives. Whereas a lot of works that we think have no particular autobiographical kind of trail or line through them, I think those are the things that really reveal the most to me about an artist. So when I look at a landscape artist and how they represent and the ways in which they reflect the outside world around them, I'm seeing from their perspective. I'm kind of recognizing their way of seeing, knowing what they know, the details that stand out, the scale of the trees, the color, and the tones and intonations of the world around them. All of those are reflections of the artist's perspective that end up telling me, potentially as a viewer, something about the artist. So even works that we don't believe are directly autobiographical, I think can tell us a lot about the creator of them. And part of what I'm thinking about here is sometimes this expectation that, when you're going to see American artists or contemporary artists or work by Latina artists, we think that it's going to be telling a very specific story. And overtly, a lot of the people might look alike that are in the figures, or might have the same skin color, or they might be referring to a similar time period historically or whatnot. But if we're fooled easily by that initial kind of outer layer of the artwork, we often miss out on the little details that can tell us so much more. Like in this painting, I was intrigued by the very large, expressive brush strokes that suggested to me that this painting was painted rather quickly. And even the books that are on the shelves, they're not completely painted in, as if in some ways it was an afterthought. They're quick little scribbles of titles on one book, that type of thing. But then there's this tiny, very detailed little gold dot, put on the earlobe of the figure in the foreground of the painting, where so many of the other brushstrokes are very fast and expressive. This one was so deliberate, and the scale of it is so small that detail brings so much more significance to me than the more immediate and obvious information that's given. So I like kind of mining for those textual clues about what's going on, and being willing to just notice what I notice and when. So it's valuable to go ahead and state the obvious when I'm engaging with the painting. All right, this is a man. He's sitting in the chair. He's wearing jeans and a baseball cap, so it looks a bit casual. It looks as though he's in his home at his office. So I can state all of those obvious things, and that's kind of the first layer of interaction. But then I start asking questions like, what's there and what's not there? Do I expect another person to be there? Why or why not? Are certain things, very detailed and others are more abstract? Are the colors what I expect them to be? Why or why not? So I notice what I notice, but then also allow myself to imagine other possibilities. Like I imagine, what would the painting be if there were a person sitting on his lap? Why isn't there? Is that related to the relationship that's alluded to in the postcard in the background of the work? I don't know, that works for me. I don't have a background in art history. I have a Master of Fine Arts in creative writing, and I love visual artwork, but I can't say that I've mastered a way of reading it. I do know, however, how to observe and how to take in information, how to critically and creatively engage with it, and I'm comfortable with my ability to recognize my own opinions and observations. And I think that's really the key to enjoying gallery and museum shows, is understanding that absolutely, yes, there are particular intentions and ways that a lot of people will understand the work, but I am completely capable of engaging with it on my own and, seeking references and resources where I need them. But the process of me just noticing what I notice when I notice it is valuable and fulfilling in itself. So this was one of those days, one of those moments for me. All right, I'm going to check in with you again tomorrow. It's day 11. Tomorrow will be day 12 of 30 by 30 by 30, and you will see the number 7 on the sticker. All right, see, my phone is buzzing. Look at that. See, this is one of these moments where I have to tell you, I have decided to record all of these video blogs in one take and not edit them. That's me consciously being just transparent and kind of authentic, but I'm scared. I'm really scared that at some point I'm gonna burp or something in these videos. I'm gonna totally lose my train of thought, and it's just gonna be like a hum, and I'm saying nothing, but I'm promising myself that whatever happens just happens. So even though I cut my phone on silence, you could still hear the vibrate. Or maybe you didn't, and that was just me who heard it, and I just outed myself. Oh well, see, even this, I'm not gonna edit it out. I'm sticking to it. I can do this. All right, y'all, have a good one. Bye.